Welcome to DFS Insights. I'm David Geisler, and I'm joined by my cousin, David Grant Jr. The teams up on the block are the Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills.
This is where David and I will be giving you three key players to focus on while building each of your lineups. Sometimes we might have the same favorite plays and sometimes we won't. We're here to give you a quick breakdown of those three main plays, and make sure to stay tuned to the end of the podcast where we're going to give out two absolutely free lineups.
Nice, yeah. Kind of looking forward to this one. It seems to be like it's going to be a good game. We got Kansas City versus Buffalo. I think they've played each other probably, the third or fourth time now in the playoffs. Unfortunately, it's gone, Patrick Mahomes' way every single time. Josh Allen's looking for a little revenge, and I think his team's actually favored here by 2.5 points. Being that they're finally playing away from Kansas City, from Arrowhead. Patrick, like you mentioned earlier, Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't necessarily think it will be too much of a difference. His team's already kind of been struggling this year anyways, with catching the ball. But no, I think it should be a good matchup. Bills, are used to playing in the weather. It's not gonna be 10 feet of snow like it last matchup almost was. I think it is still gonna be 20, or I forgot, about 20 degrees or so. So yeah, I think it should be a pretty nice matchup. I see Patrick Mahomes leaning probably on two people. I'll talk about that more in the player analysis, and Josh Allen's gonna do Josh Allen things. So
for sure.
Yeah, how do you see this matchup shaping up?
Man, I'm definitely excited for it. I'm excited to see Patrick Mahomes on the road. This is strangely it's a huge game for both of them, because now Josh Allen is finally at home for this matchup, and then it's like, we got Patrick Mahomes needs to prove. Technically, Patrick doesn't need to prove anything, because we all know he's one of the best of all time. I mean, we'll go. That's a whole other debate. But it's like he needs to get a playoff win on the road. So this would be a huge victory for him, especially since I do think he has the, lesser of the two teams. They both are coming in at 11-6. We got just a 2.5 point spread. So, man, should be a close game. Once we get into the player overview, I definitely have some things to say about Mr. Josh Allen and some of these matchups. So
let's not waste any time here. Let's pop on over, and what three players do you see winning you that $100K to first for this tournament here?
Yeah, so kind of like Christian McCaffrey, we're seeing Josh Allen here at 17.5. I mean, that's a hefty price tag, obviously, and can make it a little difficult constructing your lineups, especially with quite an array of people here to pick from at this point. We are here in the playoffs. However, let's just say that Josh Allen has been in the perfect lineup like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 out of the last 8 or 9 times. He is averaging 28 fantasy points against Kansas City, 24.6 over the last 2 years. So he shows up to play, against these guys regardless. And saying that that's over the last 2 years, and this is probably, I guess they do have a decent defense, but nonetheless, Josh Allen is the heart and soul of the team. I think if Buffalo's going to win, it's going to be because of him. if Buffalo loses, it's going to be because of him.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Pretty much. So I find it extremely difficult to get away from having Josh Allen in your lineup. Don't get me wrong, this is fantasy football. Anything can happen on any given Sunday, as we know. But that will be my MVP play. My Knicks play, is going to have to be Isaiah Pacheco, the running back, obviously for the Chiefs. Pacheco didn't play in their matchup when they matched up this season. That game ended up being 20-17. Buffalo won. But that was with no Isaiah Pacheco, and he's really come through here the last half of this season for the team. So I think that's going to bring a whole different dynamic to this game specifically. If we think that the Chiefs are going to be playing from behind, you might think like going the running back here might be not quite as smart, but I think he's a must play as well. And at 13-5, and with what his upside is, this should be a close back and forth game. And I just think both running backs are in play. Buffalo's allowing 22% more rush yards, when they're at home over the last 9. Buffalo's allowing, around 35% more fantasy points to running backs when at home. That's a pretty significant number.
That's a lot, yeah.
And, Pacheco's been in the optimal lineup, 2 out of the last 3 and several other times this season. So, KC's going to have to establish and make them respect the run so they can try to air the ball out. And that will bring me to my final play. Since I'm not mentioning Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to have to go to Travis Kelce. This dude is so overdue. I don't know if he's completely checked out, but this could be his, he's talked about retirement. This could be his last go. So I could see him leaving it all out on the field. I could see him getting, he obviously averages like 10 targets anyway. I could see this being a 10 to 15 target game. If they are down and they have to go on that final drive, we all know who's getting the ball. It's going to be Travis Kelce. And even though he doesn't have a touchdown, in frickin' forever, to me, since November 20th against Philly is his last touchdown, there's just no way. He's overdue. At 11.5 is just a great price. I find it hard to pass up quickly. So, although Buffalo is ranked 9th, allowing basically no touchdowns to tight ends over their last 9, that's a little scary. But not that this isn't. We're talking about one of the greatest of all time. So this dude's going to show up. I just can't see him going out bad. Let's just keep it that way. So those are my 3 picks. I got Josh Allen at MVP, must play. Isaiah Pacheco is basically a must play, and then Travis Kelce, he's finally lower priced, and I just think he's got to show up for them to have a chance to win. So, what are your kind of little quick thoughts on my picks, and then I'd love to hear what 3 picks you got for us.
Yeah, I'll start with Pacheco because Allen and actually Kelce are actually my picks as well. 2 of my 3 picks. So Isaiah Pacheco, I'm curious to kind of see what he does. Obviously, it would have been nice to have that frame of reference in the previous matchup to see kind of how it does. Buffalo, which is weird. You mentioned that 35% more fantasy points to. I'm kind of wondering what they're basing that on. Like, is it like compared to the away ones? I'm assuming, right? But so it was because I'm looking, and it's like right now Buffalo has a 7th ranked defense against the run. So it's like I'm thinking 35 seems like a lot, but if they're only allowing 10, 35% is really only an extra 3 points, 3.5 points.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of curious.
That's true.
But Pacheco, yeah, he's been pretty beastly the last few games there, and they do use him. Usually, you typically see Mahomes throwing a lot more, but with the receivers that he's had this year, they're definitely leaning on him, and as they should. He is a great running back. So, yeah, I see him, as a viable pick for sure, and at 13.5, that's actually not too bad. So going into my picks, I'll kind of just start off where you kind of started. Josh Allen being one of my picks here. It's kind of hard not to. I mean, when you have a person that's basically two positions, quarterback and running back, like it's hard not to, even at 17.5. I mean, he had 8 runs, 74 yards. Mind you, one of those runs against Pittsburgh was like that 56-yard touchdown run. So, but at the same time, I mean, he's had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, basically 10 rushing touchdowns in the last 8, 9 games. He is throwing, still quite a bit. But like you said, they're either going to, ride him to the end or they're going to crash with him. Because we've seen him throw three touchdowns. We've seen him throw a bunch of interceptions and lose the ball quite a bit. So he needs to be, even though they're playing at home, they have that advantage. He still needs to, be the Josh Allen that we've seen in these last 3 weeks. And I think he will. 17.5, I'm definitely going to be playing him. It's going to be hard not to. It'll be very situational if I don't have him in the MVP just because of that price tag. But obviously that would be a good tournament play because that would purely be an ownership play there. So I will, have him in MVP, but I'll also probably have a few in the flex based on the game script that I'll be going with.
Nice.
Next up, I'll go with Travis Kelce. I don't know what happened. I was gonna say, it all started when he started, the maybe he became too much of a Swiftie, but in all reality, he really hasn't had a good season, even before the whole thing. So I mean, he had one game, 29 points, but in double digits, but they're low double digits, 11, 10, 12. Even single digits, and that's just not a Travis Kelce like that. In the past, he's actually had some drop issues, maybe not as bad, but he did miss a few wide open. Dude, Travis Kelce, you should be catching those things. In Miami, mind you, I don't know what it's like to catch a football in negative 15-degree weather. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I'm sure he's better at it than I am. But yeah, he's due. He has to be. And if you think about it, Mahomes has 2 receivers, Kelce and Rashid Rice. He doesn't trust anybody else. He doesn't throw it to anybody else. It's either he throws it to those 2, hands it off, or runs that little 5-10 scramble and whatever. That's literally the Kansas City's game script. It's crazy. So I'm hoping to see at least a touchdown out of him. I expect it.
I expect one. One too.
Buffalo's 21st against tight ends, so they're projecting him about 15 fantasy points, which is basically be the highest he's done since October 22nd. So that's a pretty bold estimate, but I see it. I mean, he's due. 21st ranked. They know the matchup. They've played plenty of times before. He had, 83 yards, 10 targets last time, 6 catches against them. So I think he'll have similar, but he'll have a touchdown or 2 in this matchup. Going on to my last pick, I hated on him, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. Khalil Shakir. And he just became more valuable because Gabe Davis is now officially ruled out. So he did pick up a touchdown last game, only 3 targets though. But I see him getting more targets. I know Gabe Davis was also out last thing, but he's clearly the number 2. Diggs, not sure. I don't know. Maybe he's just drawing the bad stick with the coverage, which he should. He is that good. He should be getting the hardest coverage. But Khalil Shakir will step up. I believe he is getting more snaps than Sherfield, but Sherfield also got a touchdown last time as well. Sherfield is $2K cheaper, but I think Shakir is just the better receiver in my book, so I'll be happy to pay up to $9K for him. And that's really my 3. I see Shakir walking her way 50, 60 yards and a touchdown at least this matchup.
Nice. Yep. I like that play as well a lot.
So yeah, what do you think? I mean, kind of already gone over Kelsey and thing, but
yeah, it was
Shakir.
without us talking about it, it's kind of interesting. We have the we both even had Kelsey there because obviously, I guess if we didn't have Mahomes, it just has to be Kelsey. I mean, This is, it is what it is. So, and I think having Pacheco in this game is going to open things up more for their offense, probably specifically for Kelsey. So I think he is going to be able to make enough of a difference for us to see a little bit different of a game than when they met the first time this season.
Yeah,
so
I agree. But with that, who's your MVP? Who do you have winning this game? I think based on kind of your analysis, I have a guess. Who?
I don't. It's insane to go against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, man. And especially knowing Pacheco wasn't in the first game that they played this season, and it was 20-17. It was only a 3-point game. I think if Buffalo's been waiting for this moment. They're at home. They don't have. Kansas City doesn't have quite the squad that they've always had. We can all agree on that. So this is Josh Allen's moment to get over the hump. So my MVP is Josh Allen. I think it's going to be his night. He's going to show why he is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And I got Buffalo taking this one. Man, it's so hard to bet against Kansas City. It should be a very close game. It could even come down to the final drive. I got Buffalo winning this. Man, like a 17-14, like Buffalo, basically.
Really?
I mean, I don't really see too high a scoring happening here. I definitely kind of see it. I'll be on the under of the 45.5. It's going to be cold. I mean, it's 20 degrees. So unless Butner, who scores half the points for Kansas City, I see Buffalo taking this one. So who's your MVP, and how do you see the score playing out here?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go away from Josh Allen. I have him at MVP. Obviously, I would prefer him not to, just because that would put so many other of my lineups that I'm going to be doing so far ahead, just because he's going to be so highly owned, 60% at least in the MVP. So if he's not the MVP, then 60% of the player field is gone. You're only really competing against, I guess, 40%, right? If he doesn't become MVP. So, but I do think he's going to be. I mean, it's hard not to. He'll have probably 3 touchdowns and probably rush one in. So that's how I kind of have it. With that being said, 3 touchdowns, him rushing one in. I feel like it's going to be 31. They're going to get a field goal too. 31-20. Buffalo. I think they're going to spank them. I don't think Mahomes has the weapons to overcome Buffalo. I just don't.
and you see statement game. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just been.
But
He's been doing so many like backyard football things to make things work, and I think it's going to catch up to him.
Yeah, it might have worked in the regular season here and there, but here in the second round, the divisional round of the playoffs, it's this is game time.
Yeah.
So I could see it going, a higher scoring, like you said. I was being a little conservative, but as you mentioned it, I could see Buffalo definitely, getting to 30 points. So, I could see that. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And with that, here's what everybody's been waiting for here. Here's our lineups. Please feel free to enter these lineups in. We will be entering them in the large field $9 entry 100K to first tournament. Obviously, hopefully, the more people to do it, and we'd love to share the money, or just start letting the community start winning. We're batting pretty good. Haven't hit anything big, but we are, at least providing winning lineups to you guys. But please let us know in the comments if you do enter one. We would like to know. Keep track of who's kind of entering, who's trusting us with their picks, and we'd love to hear, your guys' thoughts, concerns, whatever, also in the comments. And with that, make sure subscribe, hit the notification bell, as we're covering all the playoff games, and also transitioning over to NBA. So with that, good luck. See you on the leaderboards, and I'll let David send us away here.
Yeah, hey, let's go Buffalo, and be sure to check out the other videos we have floating around. We are doing a video for a Fanduel single game for each of these games for the weekend. So be sure to check that out. Like, subscribe, and good luck to everyone out there. And I'll see you guys all at the top of the leaderboard. You can look for that DFS Insights logo. It's going to be up there at the top in one of these this weekend. I promise you that. So good luck.